what is going on in the world right now has never happened in the history of the world. I mean, I knew our leaders were screwed up, but not this screwed up. I mean, how can you shut down the whole world economy? And it's the reason that's really good news is because both the Fed and the Treasury, they're supposed to be separate, but they're now scratching each other's back, which proves they were never separate at all. And most people, that doesn't make any sense to them. But about 1999, I wrote this book. It's called Rich Dad's Prophecy. And it says why the biggest stock market crash in history is still coming and how you can prepare yourself and profit from it. And the crash market, the market I was talking about was the dot-com market in 2000, the Y2K crash. And since then, we had the 2008 crash. And I called it, I was on Wolf Blitzer's program in January of 2008. And I said Lehman Brothers was going to go down, and Wolf going, So if you don't believe me, go to Rich Dad, and you can see me on CNN with Wolf Blitzer with one of the agents of Wall Street. So anyway, we have Jeff Wang, and he's going to talk about crypto, the good, the bad, the ugly of crypto. So Jeff is in San Francisco right now. So Jeff, welcome to the program. Please give us a little bit of your background.
Hello there. So I'm a technologist from a bunch of big tech companies. Recently joined a startup that we just raised $24 million called Tonkin. But I've been involved in crypto for quite a while now. And we started as an investment group and just getting into the whole craze. But then we found out we had to mobilize. We actually had to create a whole group up. We call ourselves rocketfuel.team. And actually our deals started from just like a couple thousand each initially to millions of dollars after we started piling on the profits over and over again. So we got really into the space. We know everything from the good and the bad of the space. But really, for me, my philosophy is to be a technologist first and then go from a VC investor mindset as to what's happening in the future. So we can go by year play if we want later. But overall, I feel like that's how we got into the space, and that's why we're still writing about the space, because it's constantly evolving and it grows increasingly more complex.
Correct. So could you explain how Bitcoin is separate from the Fed, the Treasury, and Wall Street? That's the reason I endorsed it. I don't trust those guys. If you trust them, buy mutual funds, right?
So first thing to realize is Bitcoin is a digital currency, which is kind of strange, because if me and you wanted to make a digital currency, what does that even mean, right? Do you control some ledger, some Excel sheet that has how much we both have? So Bitcoin came around using this blockchain technology so that both of us actually control the same ledger. The same source of record is controlled by both of us. And later on, that ledger grew to thousands and thousands of other operators. And all Bitcoin is a history of the transactions from different keys. So as long as I have a 64-digit key, that stores money. And I could use that key to send you money, and you could use your key and send other people money. Nobody controls it. Nobody can just stop it, right? I can just ban Bitcoin. There's no way you can ban Bitcoin. So it's floating out there across borders. There's no borders for Bitcoin, but it's being traded for other assets. It's actually the biggest asset to trade into other cryptocurrencies. So when we say that it cannot be governed or there's no policy around Bitcoin, there's just simply no way to control it.
Well, so my point here is this, okay? As the governments right now all over the world are printing literally trillions of dollars, and they're trying to pay off debt that's denominated in dollars. So that means the US dollar gets stronger because they need dollars to pay off the debt. And when you heard that they were printing trillions of dollars, as a Bitcoin person, what goes through your mind? Is that good or bad for you?
If you are heavy in Bitcoin, it is good for you, because Bitcoin has been inversely correlated with the dollar in terms of the dollar compared to the other basket of currencies. So if the dollar crashes or goes bad, Bitcoin is going to go up historically. That's just how it's happened. Bitcoin has also been tied to other assets, but only in various times. To get just a brief summary, Bitcoin was pretty much tied to the S&P 500 for a little bit. And then as the oil crashed in March, I believe, everything got liquidated. So Bitcoin is considered a risky asset because it is volatile. And then it was not shielded away from all the capital being taken out of the markets. So I just want to make sure that people realize it's not really correlated with any asset. I'd say it's like a hedge or actually insurance to any other assets that you're holding.
Yes, and that's exactly the term I use. You see my last tweet, I talk about, I don't consider Bitcoin, gold, or silver investments. I consider them insurance policies against the idiots running the Fed, the Treasury, and Wall Street. And they're a bunch of criminals as far as I'm concerned, because they're printing trillions of dollars at the same time, causing billions of people to go unemployed. Are you nuts? Are you nuts? I mean, I can't, this is like heaven. But I know for people sitting at home, they're going, oh, I've lost my job. I can't pay my mortgage. And I understand, you can't pay the car payments and all this. But the name of this program is the Rich Dad Radio Show, the good news and bad news about money. So if you're sitting at home contemplating your navel saying, well, can I get my cocktailing job back? Or, what restaurant am I going to work for next? I think you missed the biggest opportunity in world history. That's my point of view. So as a crypto guy, what would you say to somebody who thinks this is a bad time? Why is it a good time for you guys?
Well, we actually analyze not every cryptocurrency, the major cryptocurrencies on a milestone basis. So in different month periods, we actually predict kind of what prices each coin is going to go. And over the long run, it gets harder and harder to analyze, obviously. Even with the coronavirus fears and we don't know when people are coming back, it's getting harder to project almost any asset. But if you do have a thesis that the dollar is going to decrease in value compared to other currencies, if you go by that thesis, Bitcoin will eventually, should go up in the long term. Cryptocurrencies as a whole, we can get into that. It's a whole ecosystem out there. Also, it starts benefiting from the decentralization of governments and their policies as well.
Okay, and so today's April 20th, 2020. What's the price of Bitcoin today?
It's about 6,800, I believe.
6,800. Do you consider it high or low?
I consider it at the right price. I'll tell you what our newsletter said. We predicted Bitcoin to be $10,000 by May because of it's a thing called the halvening that's happening in May. Yeah, the halvening. It's a joke because halvening is not really the word. But the inflation for Bitcoin is going to get cut in half. So based off our newsletter, we have milestone-based price points. We thought $10,000 by May. So it actually hit $10,000 in February. So we were like, okay, well, here we are. We've reached our point. What happens next? After oil crashed in March, it crashed again today to negatives. But when it crashed in March, all the capital came out of Bitcoin. That was a great opportunity, again, to put your money in. I predict, though, that after the halvening, there will be less mining incentive. So if the inflation is cut, there's less infrastructure to support the system because it's just not going to, be break even. Okay, so I do think, I just want to say Bitcoin is going to go down, I think, in May, is my prediction.
It's going to go down. Well, that's good news.
Yeah. So in May, there will be a correction that is a good place to get in, is my, just my opinion.